Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Judy and you are watching Running So and So, and thank you so very much for joining me here today. I'd like to welcome everybody here, especially if you're new and it's the first time you visited me. Welcome. If you're returning, it's lovely to have you back. And thank you to everybody who's watched and commented or liked one of my latest videos. I appreciate it so very, very, very much. And I am just going to start by saying I am behind with everything. As you know, I've had a very busy few weeks and I know I'm using it as the excuse, but it's true. Anyhow, my aim this weekend is to try and catch up with replying to each and every one of you personally, rather because that's what I like to do. I thought I would come on here today with a bit of a catch up and a bit of a what have I been making, because although I've not shown any makes for a while, I have been sewing, and I have been sewing frantically. I have done 3 pattern tests. Now 2 I can share with you because the patterns have now been released, and the other one I can't yet. I have more secret sewing projects and more pattern tests to come. But I am loving the pattern test at the moment because for me, at my age, I'm 63 now and I have been sewing for nearly 60 years, and I'm at a stage in my sewing where it's time for me to give back for the future. So I want to test the patterns of the future to know that what's there going forward. I want to be able to share my knowledge with the new sewers of the future. And I'm working with some wonderful people, and it is a wonderful experience for me to be able to do that. Just excuse me for a minute, my cooker's making a noise and it's driving me mad. First of all, I'm going to talk to you before the pattern test. I'm going to tell you what I'm wearing, and I'm going to stand up. There you go. I am wearing the Skyline Tee from Sew House 7. I'm wearing the option with a slightly balloon sleeve. It's a gathered sleeve head. It's an extra feature rather than it just being straight down. It just gives a little bit of detail more than anything. I'm not so bothered about it puffing up here. It's the detail that it gives. It's made in a beautiful art gallery jersey, which I've actually had for quite a few years, and I bought it first time they did Sew Yellow for Endo, and it came from Fleur. I think that's how you say it. I'll put the link in the description box below. She may still have some, I don't know. But I love the Skyline Tee. I think it's a very close-fitting t-shirt. And Art Gallery jersey has got a little bit of extra elasticity in it, making it an easy fit. Now I am going to own up with this one. Let me sit back down. You get up and move. And before I start videoing, I make certain I've got everything correct and all in focus. Because I have noticed there's been a few focusing issues. Anyhow, oh yes, I know what I was going to say. I was going to say I'm fessing up with this one because I started it at my little sewing day for Lorianne in my village. And I'd done everything except the top stitching. And when I went to at work one day, she texted me and she said, I'm going to top stitch it for you. So she finished it off using the cover stitch, which was so very, very kind of her. And I wore it to the Stitch Festival day 1. On the Saturday for me it was day 1. Last weekend. So what have I been testing? Well, you will have seen on Instagram, and if you were lucky enough to go to the Stitch Festival last weekend, and some Facebook and Instagram posts, that Victoria from Little Rosy Cheeks has released 2 new patterns, and I feel very fortunate to be on her pattern testing team. So I have pictures of them here. Now, as I talk about these patterns, I am going to, she says moving to the side, in this bit here, I'm going to put some pictures of the garment. Now, I'm very lucky to have a lovely neighbour who lives very close to me, and she has 2 children who fit perfectly into the age range for Victoria's patterns. So let's talk about the first pattern that I tested. It was the Innis trousers, and they are the most divine barrel leg trouser for children. They have a beautiful pocket here, and they have the lovely little pleat at the bottom, which gives you that lovely barrel shape to them. And I made these in a chambray from our local boys because I wanted something that was a little bit extra for a little bit of an extra crispness to it so that they would hold the barrel shape. So here you are is a picture of Ruby wearing them, and she absolutely loves them. Now on this pattern, as I mentioned, it has the side pocket, and on the side pocket it doesn't necessarily mention top stitching in the pattern, but I decided I would top stitch and I got a little carried away. So I top stitched the pockets, I top stitched under the waistband, I top stitched at the hem, I top stitched down the side of the trousers, and there is a little yoke on the back. Can you see the little yoke on the back here? I'm leaning over to the camera so I can point to you, so it's in my varifocals. On that yoke, you can see here, I top stitched across the back, and that's what started the top stitching. So I went top stitching crazy and top stitched them all over the place, which gave the trousers a unique look, which is what we're looking for when we're making our own clothes. Whilst we're making something from a pattern that somebody has kindly designed for us, we are also taking that pattern and adding our own creativity to it, which makes them, the garments that we make, truly individual. And Ruby is nearly 11, and I knew that she would want something that had that little bit extra. She adored them. She said she felt as if she'd been to an executive boutique. So when Victoria then sent me the second pattern, which I have already heard that one or two vloggers have mentioned on their vlogs, the Folly jumpsuit. Can we see that? And I'm going to zoom it in. So as you can see, it has got a lovely, it's going to come to this side, that's better. It's got a high neck at the front, high round neck at the front, but a deeper scooped neck scoop at the back. And it has inseam pockets, which are very, very easy to fit. And you can have it 3/4, full, or play suit length. Now I made this full length. And just before I go any further, I just want to point out that at the back there is this tiniest bit of elastic that's inserted just at the bottom here. You can see it just there. That little bit of elastic is the most super piece of pattern drafting and ingenuity from Victoria, because it allows the garment to slip on and off with total ease, yet it nips it into place so that nothing flops down. So here are some pictures of Ruby wearing it. She absolutely adores it. As I'm just going through and scrolling through, you can see the different angles that she's wearing it. And you can see how it fits so neatly around her back, and how the pockets just give her that sort of very casual look for a young lady that's nearly 11. I've seen some fantastic pictures, and if you just Google the hashtag Folly jumpsuit on Instagram, you will start to see the play suit versions coming up. I think it's Victoria made a beautiful play suit version in a lovely stripe, and it looks absolutely fantastic. So I was fortunate enough to test these, and if you are sewing for young people, it's just such a joy to make a child's pattern. I really, really do. It's like sewing for my grandchildren. My grandchildren are too small for these patterns at the moment, but there'll come a time. I don't have the garments with me, because when I go up and I take the photographs, I tend to leave the garment there with Ruby as a bit of a thank you. And I know that Ruby's mum loves me going up and using Ruby as a model. So I am so very, very fortunate to have somebody on my doorstep that will test these patterns for me. So those are the two patterns, the Folly jumpsuit and the Innis trousers bum, little rosy cheeks. Totally recommend them. And sewing for children, as I've just said, a total joy. You can make something to give to another person. Now, let me go back to the Envie dress by Coralie Biasson Patterns. Now I don't have a Coralie Biasson pattern sleeve because I got a PDF for this one, but this is a Coralie Biasson pattern sleeve. Now this is for the Astrid jumpsuit, but I love this. It is my pattern. It is the one pattern. C'est le moi patron. I love it, absolutely love it. So the Envie dress, let me spin round because I have it here. I did have it here, I do have it here. I have moved forward with it, and I now have the most beautiful It's here. Can you see the mess in my sewing room? It's an absolute mess behind me. But it is a very interesting, I've got it inside out here. It's a completely lined bodice. And round the neckline here, it suggested that you put in some elastic. Now, I have never put in elastic around the neck and turned it before for a jersey dress. So this was really pushing me out of my comfort zone. So, this is me we're talking about with the overlocker. And everybody would know that I'm not just going to sit down and do it. Oh no, that didn't work for me, did it? So I got out my clear elastic. That's 10mm clear elastic. Oh no, that was just not going to work. Let me show you the samples that I have here. So this was it with, oops, here we go, 10mm elastic. So it was pretty obvious. I was watching somebody else who dropped something on the floor during the vlog. Pretty clear that the 10mm elastic was not going to work because, can you see, it pops out just there. And when you turned it round, okay, I know this is the wrong way around, it just doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel as if it's sitting in properly. It's hard, it's horrible. This elastic, I don't know if I can get it to come apart. Where is it? It's just here. Can you see it? It's really very, very, very stiff. And I think I will have bought the one I bought when Rachel from Stitched Up was showing me how to put it in running trousers. Definitely not the right thing. Then I had this great idea, I was going to trim it. I still didn't like it trimmed because even when I trimmed it, it just, sorry, I know I'm looking down because I had another piece. So that's one piece that I'm going to put in the bin. So I want you to see that I actually am a woman of my word. And if I am going to practice something, I will practice it and practice, here it is. Practice it again. That's another one that's not worked. Although I've got the stretch, it just didn't seem to want to sit properly. So I thought, right, that's it. I'm going to stop. I'm going to go away and I'm going to buy some thinner elastic. So this is 4mm clear elastic. And that came from Mr. Amazon yesterday morning or yesterday evening. So I now have oodles of clear elastic. Well, I did some more samples. Here, so I'm working away at using this elastic, and as I'll have shown you, I am using a thinner elastic. It's so fine you won't even be able to see it. Can you see it there? It's so fine. But I'm just doing my practices at the moment. This is the next practice. I will have shown you one already, so I'm feeding the elastic in, but it's getting the elastic in. I'm wondering if I use a glue. Right, I can't see any glue, fabric glue. So I'm actually going to use glue. So I'm actually going to glue it, oops, on. So this is it, warts and all, folks. I'm going to glue it in place with a little bit of glue at the end, because that's where it's going to start. And I don't want it to move. I have got fabric glue, I've just got to go and find it. In fact, it's probably one of these things next to me. So there it is in. So it doesn't need to be all the way over. Yeah, I bet if I go on the website, there'll be something that says, you know, there's a special foot for this. So off we go. I've actually got the foot pedal on the floor this time. So off we go. And hopefully I'll take it. The first one I did without filming went really well, and I'm just laying it on, giving a tiniest bit of resistance. I don't necessarily think I want a lot of resistance, because if I give too much resistance, it is pulling slightly, but could that be it? Could that be the effect I'm after? Because that's going to go back on itself quite nicely. Because then I've got to fold it over, but it says I've got to overlock it. There you are. I'll have to work out how to iron it and hold it down. I may have to understitch it, but I've got Maraflex in the sewing machine at the moment. So let me try it again. I'm going to do it in the round this time. So I've got a piece of fabric, because this is in the round, this piece that I'm going to do. Uh-oh. That's going to affect my stitching. Obviously, I've not been on any baby lock courses. I'm literally doing this using, reading the manual, knowing what the pattern says I've got to do, and my experience of playing around with the overlocker, which is why I always say it's good to fiddle around and do these test samples. So literally going to put it through, and let's see. I'm very sorry if that was out of focus. Let me just lift the screen round. There we go. So I'm literally just going to lay it on, because the idea was that they said you needed this on to stop the neckline rolling. So as you can see, I actually had a good time playing around with getting the elastic to sit in properly. So this is the first one I did, or one of the first ones, and it fits in beautifully. And also when I turned it round, because I was really concerned, because I had to turn this thing inside out and then iron down to get that really firm edge, it had to have a softness to it, and this really does have that softness. So I did another one, a smaller one, just to double check that oh no, this was the first one I did, and this is where I went wrong. Look, can you see? I'd caught it at the end, caught the fabric here. So this was the second one I did. I've got a fabric bin here to the side of me. This was one where I actually was very keen to make certain that I'd actually caught the elastic in at the top properly when I started, and I had. And all I did was just to feed through a little bit of extra elastic and then pop it in. I think I actually mentioned at one point that I tried a bit of glue. It didn't work. Then I decided, because I was doing it round the neck, I had to just make certain I could do it in the round. Now, I did get a scrap, sewed it up, like so, and then did it in the round to make certain I could start and finish it properly. Because when you're actually going to sew on your garment, I'm going to put that in just here. So when you are sewing on your garment, you want your stitching to be as perfect as you can get it. And actually going around that, I found it quite nerve-wracking, because I knew that I had a one go at this. Okay, yes, the seam allowance was 1 centimetre, and so I wasn't really chopping anything off, but I was really convinced I just had to get this right the first time. And I was very lucky, because as you can see, it did. I then took it to the iron, so there we go. I then took it to the iron and I very carefully ironed down the neckline. Now it's okay at the moment, but I think it's going to need a little bit more ironing. And the reason, as I said earlier, they wanted the neckline to keep its shape. I was on the virtual sewing room when I was doing this, and one of the ladies on there suggested that Vilene do a similar tape that allows you to get that effect where your neckline will not pull out of shape. I can't remember what it's called, but if I can find it, I'll pop it in the description box. But look at that. It's totally changed. This fabric has totally changed from the flat. Hold on a minute. So that's it on the flat. I mean, it's fine. It looks lovely, but it's totally changed the style of the fabric by turning it into a garment, and it's got 3 beautiful pleats just here. Now the sleeve is going to be finished very similar to this, because I like this style of sleeve, and I'll tell you why. It's because this bit of my arm, no matter how much exercise I do, it is just the way I am. It's a little tiny bit on the chunky side, so I tend to find if I've got a little bit of extra movement at the top here, it sits onto my body much, much better. So that is coming along nicely, and I'm hoping to get this garment, she says hanging it on, just hang it just here for a minute. I'm hoping to get that finished fairly soon. I have done some of the patchwork, not as much as I would like to have done, and sometimes in life as you just have to go with the flow and accept that things aren't going to go quite the way you would want them to go. But one of the blocks, I've got to do 2 blocks, and they're long thin blocks, and they're called a twisted pole. So I have managed to do one of them, and that is the twisted pole. These are from the Block of the Month quilt by Debbie Shaw's Half Yard Sewing Club, which again I'm thoroughly enjoying doing. I'm a bit of a fuss pot because I do take out to try and make certain that my points match as best as possible. And as I've said before, it's wonderful looking back and rediscovering my love of quilting, because it's working with a stitch that I liked to do, and stitching is dressmaking, embroidery, whatever. As for the weekly blocks, I am way behind on the weekly blocks. But what I did was I took Ruan's idea. Ruan, who is the Yorkshire Sew Girl, has the big project wallets. We've all seen the big project wallets that Ruan recommended that we've used, and I know that a lot of people are now using this fantastic idea of Ruan's, and I thought, I need something for the patchwork. Thanks, Ruan. I went for a mini one. This is A5, and it's just perfect. So when you've cut your pieces out for a block, and I just put them inside my book like that. So again, it's Amazon. I'll try and find the link and put them in the description box below. Ruan's for the big projects are an A3, and then these tiny ones are A5, and they're just perfect for putting in the pieces for my patchwork. Now, going forward this week, I have got a wonderful week of sewing. I want to finish my Envie dress because I would like to wear it on Saturday night, providing it is not too hot, because it's going to probably be a little bit more of a wintry, it was autumny, springy dress. So if it's too warm, I'll be too hot, and if it's, I don't want to be too hot with what I'm doing. This coming Friday is the gathering. I don't know if there's any tickets left for the gathering, but if you want to go to a Frock Tales event in Yorkshire, it is the gathering. I won't be going this year. I will miss everybody at the gathering. I will be going to, I've got an appointment with Mr. Gareth Malone in Leeds. I am going to the sing-along with Gareth, the Forays Requiem at Leeds Minster. It's an event that's being run by my son. So I'm going along to, 1, support my son, and 2, going along to sing with Gareth Malone. And Hannah's coming with me because she is really into her singing. We are a classical family. We like all music from all genres. Hannah sings opera, but yet listens to modern music. Same with Tristan, he plays classical, listens to modern. I tend to be more of a classical person, but I don't mind modern music as well. So we're a fully eclectic musical family, but what we tend to sing and play tends to be more on the classical line. There you are, there's a bit about me you didn't know. In fact, I was talking to somebody the other night who had no idea that I played the oboe. There you are. One fact about me that you didn't know. So apart from that, finishing the Envie dress, I want to catch up with the patchwork. I need to catch up with the embroidery, but I have a way of catching up with the embroidery because I'm going to stay with my brother, and that involves 4 hours on the train, 2 down, 2 back. And when I'm at Simon's and he's watching the television, I will be doing some sewing. I'm really sorry about the girls. They're playing because they want feeding. And also this week, I will be doing my video for Sew Blouse April, which I am really looking forward to. And there's also another secret make that I need to do. So it's going to be busy, busy, busy. Lots and lots of sewing and lots of fun. So I hope you too are looking forward to a wonderful week ahead. And I will see you all again very soon. And it will be my Sew Blouse April vlog that I will be doing next. So until then, have a lovely, lovely rest of your weekend. Take care, enjoy your sewing. Oh, and if you haven't yet subscribed, it would be wonderful if you could click the button just there or just there and join me on this journey. So for now, take care, lots of love. Bye-bye.